took the knife out and I proceeded to slit his throat. I was planning to murder him. He was the easiest out of anybody because he would have followed me because we're such good friends.
This well-brought-up and bright student with successful parents has just been taken in for questioning by the cops following the cold-blooded demise of his best friend in a cruel manner. Did this brilliant mind with a bright future ahead of him just admit to taking his friend's life? If he did, what made him do this to his friend? The story you're about to watch tells a heart-wrenching story of what can go wrong between two friends. 14-year-old Michael Hernandez is a student at Southwood Middle School in Miami. The 3rd of February 2004 began like every other normal day. As the students met in clusters for chitchats, no one paid any serious attention to the absence of two of their colleagues, Michael and Jaime, who met each other at the teacher's car park. As the classes open and the students rush in, a male student decides to use the bathroom and walks into it. On his way in, an unidentified male student makes his way out. He notices blood spots on the bathroom floor and carefully follows the trail. When he gets to a room where he suspects the blood is coming from, he bends to peek into the toilet room and is shocked by what he sees. Shocked and horrified, the youngster flees to get the attention of a security guard. However, the guard refuses to take him serious, as he probably thinks the young boy is making a prank. He sends him away and asks him to get back to his studies. The young student soon grabs another male student, and together they make their way back to the bathroom. Here, the two boys are confronted with one of the most horrifying images they will hopefully ever have to deal with. Sprawled over the toilet seat is the unresponsive and bleeding body of one of the fellow students, 14-year-old Jaime Goff. One of the boys calls out to him a couple of times, but he doesn't respond. He is soaked in his own blood. The boys run out to call the attention of the security, and this time the sheer look of terror in the eyes of the boys is enough to convince him that they are not fooling around. He rushes to the bathroom with the boys, but something bizarre has just happened. The body has been moved outside the bathroom and laid out on the floor. Jaime's neck also has deep cuts in it. With this terrible development, the security calls the Miami cops and the school is placed on lockdown. The cops soon arrive and the preliminary investigations begin. Michael's teacher gives the cops an interesting piece of information when she reveals that Michael had gone to the bathroom about 3 times that day. The cops bring him to an office and begin to question him, especially after they notice some blood stains on his shirt. He tells them that a door had slammed into his face when he was playing with the late Jaime. However, no injury is found on his face, so he quickly changes his story and says that he went into the bathroom where he met another student. The student had told him about someone being in the toilet room, and when he bent to peek, the blood on the floor stained his shirt. He admits to seeing his friend in the room, but says he simply left and went back to class. The cops ask to check his school bag, and here they make shocking discoveries inside it. Inside, they find latex gloves and a red jacket with bloodstains. With all of these incriminating pieces of evidence, he's transported to the police station for further questioning. Although Michael is a minor, the state of Florida permits minors to be interviewed without parental guidance. The interview soon gets underway, and what you are about to see will shock you to the core. The detective asks some basic questions about his name, age, school attended, and his performance as a student.
For the record, could you please state your name?
Michael Hernandez.
Mike, what's your birth date?
February 2nd, 1990.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So you just turned 14?
Yes, I did.
Very good. And what grade are you in?
I'm in the 8th grade.
What school do you go to?
Southwood Middle School.
And are you in any special classes or anything? Any honors classes?
I'm in gifted. All my classes are gifted except for my electives.
Michael doesn't hesitate to reel out answers like the intelligent student that he is. Soon, the investigator delves into the events of the day and asks him about Jaime. At the mention of his name, Michael momentarily pauses and affirms that he knows the student.
Do you know an individual by the name of Jaime or Jamie Goff?
Yes, I do.
The detective proceeds to ask what happened on that day, and he tells him that he and Jamie had met by the school fence at about 8:30 thereabouts.
What time did you get to school?
8:25, or a little after, between 8 and 9:30.
And when you arrived at school, where did you go to?
I went to the fence on the outside of the parking lot, north of the parking lot.
Who did you meet at the fence?
I met Jamie Goff.
He then convinces Jamie to accompany him into the school premises.
Did you make any suggestions to Jamie that you and him go into the school early this morning?
Yes, I did.
This is against the school rules, as students are only let inside by 8:50 a.m.
What time does school open and are students allowed inside the school?
8:50.
And they've gotten into trouble a couple of times for sneaking into school before the recommended time.
Because we've gotten in trouble on previous times when we've attempted to go up there.
And why do you get in trouble for attempting to go inside the school?
Because it's too early and we shouldn't be walking around upstairs.
I see.
The detective asks why he convinced Jamie, his friend, to go into school with him, and Michael coldly tells his interviewer that he did so because he wanted to take his friend's life.
Why did you make the suggestion to Jamie to go inside the school today?
I was planning to murder him.
As the detective prods further, Michael tells him that his mother had gotten the latex gloves for him the previous day. This is because he had lied to her that he needed it for some of his science subjects.
Where did you get them from?
My mother purchased them at Walgreens the previous night.
Why did she purchase these? Was that at your request?
It was at my request because I said that I needed them for extra credit for my science class.
He continues by saying that after he convinced Jamie, who grudgingly accompanied him, he led him to the largest toilet room in the bathroom, all the while telling him that he had a surprise to show him.
Once you brought or got Jamie in there, how were you going to bring him or lure him into the restroom?
We usually go to the restroom after we get upstairs so we don't get caught by security.
Okay.
And so I knew that was going to work. I got him into the stall by saying, look, I have something to show you. So I got him into the stall, and I told him to turn around because I wanted it to be a surprise.
Jamie innocently follows him and then asks that he turns his back towards him. What happens next is a gruesome act of savagery carried out on the young boy by his friend as he grabs a knife he had been hiding in his jacket and viciously attacks his friend.
I took the knife out, and I proceeded to slit his throat.
Now, do you remember in which direction you slit his throat?
Left to right.
Although Jamie begs him not to end his life after the first attack on his neck.
Did Jamie say or do anything? Did he put up a struggle?
Yes, he did. He turned around after I did that. He asked me not to kill him. So I told him, okay, I'm not going to if you cooperate.
Okay.
Which was a lie.
Right.
And so I realized that the stall door was open, so I locked it.
Yes.
Michael ignores him and eventually ends his life in the bathroom.
Then I turned him around again and proceeded to stab him.
And where did you stab him, Mike?
I'm not positively sure, but I'm guessing around the jugular vein right around here. That's
Okay.
what I was aiming for.
Did you stab him anywhere else on his body?
Just basically the back of the neck, all through the neck.
Okay.
And once in the temple, and I think I sliced him here.
And that would be on the left side of his face?
The other side of the face.
He quickly takes off his jacket and the gloves he used and hides them in his bag.
I took my gloves off and I flushed them down the toilet.
Okay.
Okay. I left and I went to go clean myself off. People were coming in, and so I left that bathroom and went to the other one downstairs.
From his confession, it is obvious that his crime was premeditated. He had asked his mother to get him the gloves just for the sake of the crime. He had also gone ahead to create a secret chamber in his backpack where he concealed some of his crime evidence. Whether he is aware of his crime or not, or just speaking as a teenager with an undeveloped frontal cortex, it's unclear. But Michael speaks with so much enthusiasm, you would almost think he was pitching an idea for a startup grant. He is so pumped up and speaks so fast that the stenographer asks him to slow down at intervals.
No, I did not.
Oh,
He tells the cops that after he was done, he kept his assault weapon in his jacket, where he had an extra pair of gloves after flushing down the one he used for his crime.
Now, you said that you had flushed some gloves
Yes.
down the toilet.
There were two. I flushed 2 gloves.
2 gloves. How many pair of gloves did you have?
I had 2 pair. 4 gloves in all.
Where did you keep the other pair of gloves?
In the jacket pocket where I kept the knife.
All right.
He also says that he noticed that one of his rings was missing.
Did you remove any of your jewelry?
I removed my rings because they would have cut through the latex glove.
Okay. Did anything unusual, or did you notice anything unusual when you put your hand in your jacket pocket after the incident?
Yes, one of my rings was missing.
And so he had to go back to the bathroom to check for it.
What did you do?
I went back upstairs to find the ring.
Here he met another student who he refers to as a witness,
There was a witness there saying that someone was in that stall.
and the student tells him that someone had been fatally harmed inside the toilet room. Michael is already aware of this and simply went to retrieve his missing ring.
I went to go look, having known what was there. And I saw my ring and picked it up and then left.
Okay.
And not to check up on the person that was once his friend.
Had you gone up there actually to check to see if Jaime was okay?
No, I did not.
The detective asks why he chose Jaime, and he says Jaime was the easiest of all his other acquaintances.
Why did you choose Jaime, your friend?
He was the easiest out of anybody because he would have followed me because we're such good friends.
No one is sure why Michael did what he did. As a minor, he cannot be diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder. His behavior also doesn't make him look like someone suffering from some form of psychosis or schizophrenia. However, evidence from photos of his rooms revealed tons of books with themes of violence and horror contained in some of them. Michael had just turned 14 the day before, and on that day, he had approached another friend of his and Jaime by the name of Andre. He also tries to talk him into going with him to the bathroom to show him something surprising, just like he had lied to poor Jaime. By some miracle, Andre didn't go with him.
Calling your attention to yesterday, Monday, your birthday,
My birthday.
did there come a time when you approached Andre with the same type of ruse?
Yes, there was.
The detective presses him to know if he had the same evil intentions towards Andre, and he responds in the affirmative. However, this time he says he planned on ending Andre's life in a different manner from Jaime's.
My intentions yesterday were to kill Andre. The same way that I killed Jaime today, except for the fact that I was going to stab him in the back and stab here, and that would have been it.
Who is this you were going to do it to?
I was going to do this to Andre.
It is obvious that Michael had been fantasizing about different means of ending lives, and he was trying to experiment with this with the friends closest to him. His confessions come across as a regular conversation. He is so calm and appears confident as he talked with the detectives. The detective asks him about a belt he had the previous day, and he says he had it as part of his evil thoughts on Andre.
Earlier you told me that you had a belt and you were going to strangle someone.
Yes, I was going to strangle him first, and then after he was dead, I was going to make sure by stabbing him.
Okay, and this was Andre.
This was Andre.
He further tells the detective that he wanted to put an end to Andre's life first before going after Jaime. However, Andre was reluctant to follow him, and so he moved his plans to the next day, where Jaime unfortunately ended up as his victim. When the detectives ask what he would have done if Andre had shown up before Jaime, and Michael says he would have proceeded to take his life, and describes how he would have done this.
What were your intentions going to be if Andre should have shown up?
I would have talked him into coming to the bathroom with me, coming into the stall. Then I would have proceeded to slit his throat and stab him continuously until he died in the neck area.
The detectives ask how he got the assault weapon used in the crime, and he tells them that he has a collection of knives. His father also owned a store and had given him some knives as part of his collections.
Mike, where did you get this knife from?
I have a knife collection I've been collecting knives, and as I said, my dad has a store, and so I asked him for some knives. This was before I was going to do this.
In the days that follow, the detectives will learn shocking things about Michael when they speak with some of his colleagues in school. They learned that Michael had an unhealthy obsession with demise and gore. So fascinated was he with these bizarre choices that his computer screensaver had a gory image. He was also known to have chased some with a screwdriver on one occasion and even poked them with it. In addition to this, he had a history of assaulting some of his peers, male and female. Fishing for some form of motive, the detective asks if Jaime had hurt him or done him some wrong in time past. Michael responds by saying that Jaime had never hurt him and admits to carrying out an unprovoked attack on his friend.
Is there any particular reason why you did this to Jaime?
No, there's not.
Did he offend you in any way?
No, he did not.
Did he harm you in any way?
No, he did not.
The detective again asks if he feels sorry for what he did, and he says he does not.
Are you sorry that this happened today?
No, I'm not.
As the interview comes to an end, Michael is asked if he gave his confession under duress, and he says he was not coerced into giving his confession.
Have I forced you to give this statement,
No,
sir?
you have not.
In the end, he is transferred to a juvenile assessment center and stands trial for his crime 4 years later. A shocking piece of evidence is presented to the court during his trial. It is a notebook of Michael's containing famous evil people who took the lives of people at will. It also contained a list of people that Michael planned to end their lives, including his older sister. He also had a mission statement to cleanse the earth by taking lives. At his trial, he pleads not guilty to his crimes on the ground of insanity. In the end, he is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. This ruling was annulled by a Supreme Court, making it illegal to sentence a minor to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and he was retired in 2016. Again, he got no pity from the jury who sentenced him to life in prison, just like the first time. However, he will spend just 13 years in prison. On April 29, 2021, Michael suddenly slumps and eventually ends up lifeless owing to obesity and a heart condition. If you enjoyed this episode and like to see more stories on true crime, then be sure to subscribe to our channel. This way, you'll be notified every single time we upload new videos. Thank you for watching.